Legends of the Nexus, Aetheria, Golden Dragon Inn. The Crystal Peaks mountain range stands in the defiant north of the continent of Aetheria. The active volcanoes that populate the range dissuade people of the races from expanding into the region. The absence of competition has led to a flourishing civilization of draconic species across the Crystal Peaks. Few would venture into the volatile dragon territory, but for those who would travel the region, prizes that can be found nowhere else in Aetheria await. Of course, a fiery death is a much more common reward for foolhardy greed in the untamed lands. Mira Windcaller, an elemental shaman of human descent, has traveled far across the continent to reach the Crystal Peaks. Her journey has led her to the famous Golden Dragon Inn at the trailhead of the Red Geyser Trail. The inn represents the final presence of civilization in the far north of the continent. Mira lets out a weary sigh. Her trial has yet to begin, and she's already exhausted. Her shamanic development has stagnated for some years. It is not for lack of talent that she has not progressed. Rather, it is that she has come too far, too fast, in her communion with the spirits. All of the low to mid-tier elementals have found strong empathy with her. For all that the Crystal Peaks are known for among shamans, it is the high level of the elemental spirits that can be found in the mountains. Most shamans would only venture into the Crystal Peaks in their advanced years, whereas Mira has yet to reach the age of 30. Commonly, one would only risk the terrible danger of the region after having lived a fulfilling life. Mira looks past the Golden Dragon Inn to the towering mountains beyond. She's never considered herself a coward, but the reputation of the Crystal Peaks has her considering embracing such an identity. With another labored sigh, Mira enters the building. The building's common area is filled with hardy-looking men and women, those with courage enough to challenge dragonkin territory. Several eyes turn up to spot the newcomer. Mira smiles politely as she meets the eyes of a few of the patrons and receives a nod or two before she loses her novelty. The receptionist greets her, and the young shaman gains her lodging for the night. The price is higher than she's used to, but it stands to reason that there would be a premium for the location. The room she's purchased is common in every way. It's a little disappointing considering the legendary reputation of the Golden Dragon Inn. But Mira settles for exploring the common area, where she'd seen many people gathered earlier. "Damn drakes," a man says over his ale. "I was nearly eaten last week." His neighbor chuckles. "Aye, they can swoop in on you without any warning. They're worse than true dragons. Way too many of them. I don't know, at least if a drake gets you, you're gone in a single bite. Those trolls will chew you up a bite at a time." The gossip is morbid, and Mira can't help but feel all the more intimidated by her decision to brave the mountains. While she's busy eavesdropping, Mira fails to notice a figure come to stand beside her. "Good evening, miss. Forgive me for asking, but are you alone?" The woman looks up startled, and her eyes fail to comprehend what she sees. It takes her a moment to realize that it is a goblin dressed in a fine linen suit who asks her the question. "Yes?" Her inflection turns up in confusion. It's not every day that a goblin dressed in fine clothes speaks to you in the common tongue. "Ah," the goblin smiles, what could be considered a dashing smile. "What fortune? May I join you?" Dumbly, Mira nods. The short figure takes up the seat beside her and waves down the barmaid. Shortly, the goblin has ordered drinks for the both of them, and Mira begins to feel curious. I'm sorry if it's rude to ask, but why are you... The green-skinned creature smiles. I'm a little more evolved than most of my kin. Goblins, like any of the beings you would call monsters, go through mutations at varying stages of our lives. I happened to evolve into a high goblin, particularly known for our intelligence. But enough of the boring stuff. I'm very curious to know why such a pretty lady would come to my humble establishment. Mira blinks. Your establishments? The high goblin smiles from ear to ear. Of course. Who else would operate a business so far on the fringes of society? I'm Hank, of Golden Dragon Inn. Now, the better question is, who are you, my lady? The young woman looks down into her drink before taking a sip. Mira Windcaller. I'm a shaman looking for spirits. Hank smiles a toothy smile. Ah, I see. A noble pursuit. But I must say you are quite young. The shamans I've known to come through here were always a wrinkly lot. Would you not be better searching for spirits in more hospitable locales? Mira shook her head. No, they're not strong enough for me anymore. Hank hums as he taps his chin. You must be quite confident. I'd hate for you to meet an all too common fate in the Crystal Peaks. Mira smiles. Thanks for your concern, but I'm pretty strong. Hank smiles as he finishes his drink and stands. Well then, I wish you good fortune, pretty shaman. Be sure to return in one piece. Your kind are too few in these lands. With that, the high goblin owner of the inn departs and finds another patron to schmooze. Mira breathes out and finishes her drink before turning in for the night. The journey begins soon.